Now let's talk about pie charts. A pie chart is a circle that is divided into sectors. These sectors are going to be proportional to the size of the relative frequency. We're going to be constructing a pie chart and we're going to be using Google Sheets. Make sure to be ready for that. We're going to consider the data presented in the table below. Okay. The table represents the educational attainment of residents of the United States 25 years or older in 2021. Okay. This data was obtained from the USA Census. Okay. Again, we're going to use Google Sheets. You can also use Excel. I decided to use Google Sheets for these lessons. Creating an account on Google Sheets is free. Once you have an account, you can access Google Sheets. So here we have a column with categories describing educational attainment. So notice we have not a high school, graduate, high school diploma, some college no degree, associate degree, bachelor's degree, and graduate or professional degree. Okay. And then we have the percentage of residents landing in each category. Okay. So the percentage is calculated for us. We don't have enough information to get the frequency within each category. And so we're not going to worry about that. Okay. A remark that I should make before we create the pie chart is that the categories in a pie chart cannot overlap, or else the pie chart doesn't make any sense. Okay. And that is the case with the data set that we have. One individual cannot be in more than one category. Again, we're talking about the highest education attainment for each individual. Okay. So if an individual has a AA degree and a bachelor's degree, then they would be under the bachelor's degree. Okay. Because we're talking about the highest education the individuals have. Okay. So again, we're not going to have any overlap between each of the categories. Let's go ahead and create the pie chart. For that, we're going to go ahead and copy this table. Just to keep everything organized, I'm going to add another sheet, and you can do that at the bottom left corner. Go ahead and click on the addition sign. Now we have a new sheet. I'm going to go ahead and paste the table that we had. Okay. Now let me go ahead and fix this table. I'm just going to make the first column wider. That way we can see the name of each category. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and highlight both columns, and we're going to click on Insert. Go down to Chart, and notice Google Sheets doesn't know what we want, but it is giving us a pie chart. We don't have to change the type of graph that we want. If we did have to change the type of graph, then we would go ahead and change it here under Setup. Okay. Now, we could also create a bar graph if we wanted to, but that is not what we want. So let's go back to the pie chart. And so again, I'm going to make minimal changes here. For example, we would want to change the title of this graph. Let's go ahead and try to add as much detail. Let's write educational attainment of residents of the United States 25 years or older in 2021. And there we have it. Again, we could go ahead and modify the text. We can go ahead and make it darker. We can go ahead and center the title. Same thing with each of the categories. We can go ahead and make them darker. Notice what we're seeing. Each sector of the pie represents a different category. Google Sheets is going to let you change the color of each of those sectors. We don't have to. We're not going to play around with that. This is a good visual of the data set. Okay? And so notice here in blue, we have not a high school graduate. We see that we have 8.9% of the data within this category. High school diploma, we have 27.9% in this category. Okay? And so if we keep going around, we're going to see the percent and the name of each category. Looking at this pie chart, we can see that we have most of the data or most of the individuals within the high school diploma category, right? We have 27.9%. In second place, we have the bachelor's degree category. We have 23.5%. Okay? We can also see that the category with the least number of individuals or percent of the individuals is not a high school diploma. Notice this is the smallest sector with 8.9%. A good visual for us to compare the frequency, the percentage within each category. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the pie graph, and I'm going to insert this into our notes. And here we have it. Now that we know how to create pie charts, I'm interested to see if you can interpret the pie chart. For that, I would have to ask you some questions about the pie chart. We have 3 questions here. I'm going to let you answer these questions on your own.